you so much for tuning in. This is attorney Matt Wayman here today to chat with you about the factors that judges look at when they're determining a modification of a person's bond. There's two things we always talk about. The first one is public safety risk, and the second one is flight risk. So for public safety risk, the judge is always going to look at a person's criminal history, especially if it's a violent criminal history. The judge will also look at the current charges. The more violent they are in nature, the less likely it is that they're going to grant that modification of the person's bond. The judge is also going to be worried about if there's victims in the cases. They have rights under the Victims' Rights Act, so they can be heard at any bond hearing to tell the judge how they feel about that modification. And if the judge does decide to release somebody or is leaning towards releasing somebody, the judge is always going to be worried about where is that defendant going to be living in relation to that victim, so the judge can at least feel confident that that victim is going to be safe while that case is being litigated. As to flight risk, the judge will always take into account prior failures to appear, because if they have a bunch of prior failures to appear, it's less likely they're going to show up to court to litigate that case and to see it through to the end. The judge is also going to take into account if you have a job, if you have family relying on you, if you've got children that need that income, because the judge might be more inclined to release you if you've got a good job and your family's relying on that money for their income. The judge is also going to be worried about if you have any plans to move in the near future, if you've traveled abroad recently, if you have significant contacts in some part of Europe or Eastern Europe. These are all factors the judge are going to look at in determining a modification. Just outliers that judges will kind of take into account but don't technically fall under the other two categories would be health issues, or a big one. If the defendant has a bunch of health issues and them being in custody would negatively impact their health, the judge will take that into account, as well as conditions that the defendant is willing to submit to, like GPS or EHD, electronic home detention, or random drug testing. The judge wants to know about what the defendant would be willing to submit to if that bond was modified. I hope this video has been helpful to kind of take you through all the factors that judges look at when they're determining a modification of a person's bond. When in doubt, just think about public safety risk and flight risk. If you got any questions, please comment down below. If not, I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. We're going to be back soon with more videos.